All right. Well, Andrew's here. Ekis is here. Eric is here. Mom and Dad should be here soon, I believe. So that's a good thing. Woo! That's it's got a little more Kolsch than I thought to it. I don't know. Is that something? Eric, tell me. Alaskan is good. Ekis says I have a margarita and a Suero Sul from Toppling Goliath. One of the best beers. Try it. Okay, I never tried it. I'll give it a shot soon. Andrew, Sarah, you guys consuming anything tonight that we should know about? Ben,
Yeah.
you're not consuming anything except anger and burning stairs.
Actually, I'm angry and crabby today. Yes.
Me too. I was so crabby just before. It's gonna be a great show if we get on the right topic. Water and
I'm
wine.
doing something new.
Oh, what do you
I'm
got?
doing something new.
Okay.
I am doing I am fasting.
Oh. Okay.
So I haven't eaten. I'm gonna not eat all weekend. I don't. That's what they said to do. So I'm not gonna eat anything.
Okay.
I'm water.
Well, water's good. I mean, water is what you start with when you make beer. So water's the best. Water's very good. It's approved all the time. Maddie's.
Yeah. So since I haven't eaten, I'm crabby. Crabby today.
I'm crabby for different reasons. I got a little something to get off my chest here, since it's mostly friends and family. If you don't mind me hijacking the show for a minute, Ben.
Are you gonna do some crap?
What?
Are you gonna be political? You know I hate that.
No, I'm not gonna be political at this point.
Okay, good. I hate that crap.
Ekis is wondering what kind of supermodel training you're in or you're on right now, Ben.
Who?
You?
Me?
Yeah, I think he said your face.
I don't know.
Your face looks thinner. Plus you're crabby, so most models are mad because they can't eat. So I think you're living the life of a model right now. That's what's happening.
Yeah, I don't have any. I haven't worked in a while, so I'm trying to save money. So I was like, I'll just not eat anything. I'm trying to lose weight, so I was like, I'll just not eat anything. And then I looked up some stuff yesterday about water fasting, where all you do is drink water. Some people do it for like 20 days. I'm not doing it for 20 days. I'm doing it for like 3 days. Maybe I can make it that far. If I can make it 3 days, I'll be happy. And then we'll see what happens. There's some science to it. I was looking at it yesterday. Something about like your body uses up proteins and sugars first, and then they store the fat after. So if you eat a bunch of crap, like if you just keep eating, that's why you get fat, because your body keeps storing the fat. But if you don't eat, then it uses up all your protein and all your sugars, and then it has to use the fat because that's what's left. And then it uses it up, and then you lose your fat. So that's my goal, is to lose some fat. So hopefully it works. I'm not going to die, I'll tell you that. If I get really hungry, I'll eat. I don't care. But I mean, I'm just trying. What the hey? I got nothing else to do. I just sitting around here. I'm not bored. I have plenty of things I've been doing. It's just I'm trying to lose weight fast, and then like I said, I've been lifting weights a little bit here and there, and then I just haven't been able to go outside, and I didn't bike ride in a while because your wife put that thing on Facebook with, like, if you bike ride, you got to stay far away from people or they'll puke on you or whatever. And I don't know what it was all about, but so now I don't go outside.
I'll tell you what.
I haven't left the house.
I'll tell you what. We're doing some distance learning. Distance learning 2.0 this week. This is where it got serious. The first week, so last week the kids had spring break. The week before, we had our introduction to distance learning, and we were trying to get through, just working out the tech stuff. They had curriculum and all this, but it was all suggested. It wasn't anything that the kids had to turn in yet. And then they went to the 2.0 this week, and 2 of Sophia's assignments for 3rd grade were all about talking about germs and and all this stuff and examining it. And one was this video she had to watch that showed like slow motion of people sneezing, and like where all, how far all the particles launch and like all this crazy stuff. So yeah, it's if people aren't covering their stuff or wearing a mask, eh, yeah, it's kind of scary and kind of dangerous. So, just if you're protecting yourself, that's the main thing, and then at the same time you're protecting others from you, just in case. So that's always a good way to go about it. I had a cool interview that I did on Wednesday with a friend who is a firefighter, and he talked about his. And that's on the new Day by Local community channel. If you want, I started doing some interviews with people around here to give some insight into how the outbreak and all this stuff is affecting us at a number of different angles. So not just the medical stuff, because we hear that all the time. Although I am still trying to talk to a doctor on that. But I've talked to some different people about a number of things, and one was talking with this friend who's a firefighter, talking about first responders and how their approaches had to change and whatever. And he was talking about that stuff too. But anyway, wearing a mask is good, safe, you know, uh, and it doesn't have to be an N95, necessarily if you're just trying to keep big particles from yourself from going out into the world. But we'll try to stay off of that. All right, what's let me see. I gotta backtrack here. Eric says that the too much Kolsch is not a real thing. Okay, that's good to know. Nico's here. Eric says it's fast.
Pickle.
Yeah, Nico, and he just gives a thumbs up. Not even words. Not even words this time. Just a thumbs up.
He's a man of few words, that's for sure.
And Rick asks, "Is fasting just another way of saying you ran out of groceries?"
No, but I did run out of beer and alcohol, so and I just didn't want to go anywhere today. So that's part of it. We've got food everywhere. I actually have got quite a lot of food, but
all right.
I'm sick of eating the same crap every day. I'm not a very good cook, so I only know how to make like 2 things. The best cook in our house is Grant, and he's done all the cooking he can.
He is good.
I know, and we kind of don't have the ingredients for him to do the 3 or 4 things he does really well that he knows how to do. So, and I'm too lazy to go to the store, and so yeah, I don't know. I mean, we have food. It's just I don't want to eat it. So,
all right,
whatever.
So you're crabby because you didn't get to eat. I'll tell you one quick story. Maybe this will cheer you up, maybe not, but it's a story. So the one time now I've read, cleansing diets. So not necessarily, completely shutting it off, but just going with like green vegetables and stuff like that. And now that can kind of cleanse the system and reset things. And then you reintroduce food back, and it takes a lot of the bad stuff off, and your body feels a lot better. It's tough to get through the kind of the lack of, or the sugar withdrawal for a couple days, but whatever. Anyway, I didn't make it that far on that. I made it like a day and a half, but
I did that. I did it for 3 weeks. Oh. And then I had a double cheeseburger from McDonald's. I was like,
well, see, that's similar to my one fasting experience. So one time we were trying to do a cleanse fast where all you drank was water and you didn't eat anything. And I made it.
That's what I'm doing.
I made it 22 hours. Made it 22 hours. It? Yes, 22 hours, and then I ended my fast by going to a Chinese buffet.
That's not smart.
That's the worst. That's the worst possible thing to reintroduce after fasting for 22 hours. But I was so hungry, I was like, what has food ready that I can just go in there and eat and shovel in my. I was much younger then, as well. But
I'll say this:
that's what I did. My one time fasting.
There probably won't be any more buffets left after this coronavirus crap. Buffets are going to go away because nobody's going to want to go somewhere and eat like where everybody's touching all the same utensils as you and the same food as you, and it's not going to happen. I think all buffets are going to be gone.
Yeah,
it makes me sad, but probably going to happen.
Eka says that it doesn't work. You lose weight and then you put it back on. The sugar stuff takes over a week. 3 days isn't doing anything. Sorry, go get a beer. Okay. Eric says there was a guy who did a 40-day fast living just on beer and had something like 4 beers a day. I could never see you doing that. I could, no, that wouldn't work for you. You're not a beer guy. But anyway, you try. Well, hey, cheers to you for trying something new. First off, we like that. Trying something new, trying something brave. And for pounding the water, you can never get in trouble for pounding the water. I mean, pounding water is a good thing. At a bare minimum, at least you'll flush a bunch of toxins and stuff out of your body. So that's good.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I'm just.
Why not?
Whatever. Just trying it. See what happens.
All right.
If I, whatever. If I
No,
start getting like Looney Tunes or something crazy like that, I'll just eat something. We got food here, so I'll just eat it.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
easy.
Just remember, if your family members start looking like cheeseburgers, you should probably eat some.
Well, I've been doing good so far. Like I haven't even I'm not even hungry. Like my stomach growled a little bit a little while ago, but I haven't eaten since 6 p.m. last night, I guess. So it's been whatever, over 24 hours, 27 hours. So I'm fine. I lifted weights today, even though I didn't eat anything.
Nice.
I don't know what's going on. I'm just doing stuff.
It's better than me. I went back and went back to work for the first time in a while. Actually went into the office and it was weird. Luckily there was hardly anybody around. I was just doing some video stuff, trying to do some education stuff via video online. And so I was just doing video shooting and video editing, which is kind of what I've been doing this whole time anyway. It's kind of fun. But yeah, it was good. How's everybody doing out there? You guys hopefully are all staying safe, being well, taking care of yourselves. I don't know. Did anybody vote that lives in Wisconsin? Did everybody go to the polls on Tuesday? That was nuts. I don't know. I have no words about that other than just crazy stuff. Ridiculous. Anyway, if you voted, hey, good on you. I just hope you were careful about it. A lot of people hopefully got the chance to vote absentee if you're in Wisconsin and mail it in versus actually going to the polls. That was just ridiculous. Look, I'm down today. I got to tell you, it's been a weird week. It started out really crappy. Things got better. Stuff with the kids and the family have been good, but man, just all these other things have been garbage the last, week and stuff. And I was, we did a show though. That's why I was like, we got to do a show because I'm in such a bad mood the other day. I was like, we got to do something to like switch up my mood for me. And the kids were all busy and everybody else. I didn't have anybody play with me. So, so I had us do a show and we did it. I thought it was our first show where we did it by Zoom where you could see both of us and it was video and not all the photos and stuff. And I thought it went okay. Very minimal editing. I didn't do hardly any editing at all. So that's the real deal right there. And I thought it went okay. So if you haven't checked that one out, you can head to look up Haven Brothers Talking Packers number 24. Eckes was disappointed. We got to cover that since I brought up Packers. 15 minutes into this live feed. We have to talk about Eckes was disappointed we didn't examine the linebackers much or at all really in our draft preview, but we said we were just some of the players. So you had done a bunch of research on wide receivers in that show and also defensive linemen or defensive tackles because we don't need any more defensive ends. No edge guys. No, thank you. Got enough of those. But D tackles we need. And and there's some linebackers out there, and the Packers have certainly a potential opportunity to grab a linebacker, although they probably got to move up to do it. But what do you know about those linebackers that are at least kind of the guys that are touted to be first rounders?
Well, I don't have my stuff with me right now downstairs. I did do stuff on linebackers. I went through I looked at a couple different things. There's just like I said last week, I want to go and watch some tape on the guys. So then I'll see because sometimes when you watch the tape, things will kind of come out to you. You'll see like a guy who will make a play or he'll get blocked and he can't get off the block or whatever the case is. And those are things that you can't really see when you're watching, they're running around at the combine or running their sprints or whatever. So I haven't really watched any tape on any linebackers. So I kind of suck. But a lot of them are kind of like, there seems to be two types of middle linebackers available. There's guys that are like 230 plus and run like 4.6, 4.7, 4.8. And they're, and they're smart, but maybe they don't have the speed to get sideline to sideline, that sort of thing. But they don't, they can get off a block and all that sort of stuff. They don't have the pursuit speed. Then there's guys who are 220 or 225 or under, and they have the speed, but the only time they stop the run is if they penetrate or if they can, avoid the blocks. If they get blocked, they're in trouble. They can work side to side. Usually they're pretty good coverage guys. Those are the guys that are, some of them can make plays. Some of them are undersized. because of that. If you look at the top of the draft, the top 3 guys are Simmons and Murray and Queen. Simmons is never. There's no way we're going to get him. He's too good. He's going to be like top 5 pick. But
that's what
Queen and Murray, Queen and Murray might fall to us, but they're both kind of the type of guy who runs sideline to sideline, doesn't always get off blocks, but they make plays, that sort of thing. Murray, the thing about him, a lot of people are saying that he doesn't always make plays, and he didn't make very many plays during his career. He's got a lot of tackles, but like, the interceptions and the pass breakups and stuff like that. Somebody, I think it was Murray, who they showed had like a 89% catch radius or something on him. Like whenever there's a completed passes when he's covering the guy, which doesn't sound very good to me.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. That could have been Blake Martinez. Now that I'm thinking about
it. Why?
Anyways,
look, hey, Eckes is just trying to stir up something here. He asked, he just wants some insight. Look, he's giving us compliments. First of all, he said the reason he brought it up after listening to our last show was because he knows you've been watching a lot of tape and he likes how much research that we're doing. Well, you're doing. I'm not doing any. I kind of try to light the spark and then I let you go. But Murray, he was talking about Murray, and obviously that's the guy that I think when you talk to a lot of people, that's who they would hope if the Packers go first round and can land one of those 3 linebackers. Murray is the guy that I think most people expect. Again, because the guy from Clemson, what's his name again? No, I'm the guy with the names.
Isaiah Simmons or something.
Yeah, Simmons. He's going to be long gone because he's going to be top 10 for sure, maybe top 5, like you said. The Queen guy is a little smaller than Murray, right? And from what I've seen tape wise, he's not very physical. I mean, he's smaller, so he's not as physical, and he doesn't seem to be able. I don't know. I know he's fast, but I just don't see it him being as good a player as Murray. And the Packers need a tackler, right? They need a tackler. That's what Blake Martinez was. He was a machine, a tackling machine. And they've got plenty of guys on the defense that don't like to tackle people. So they need somebody that wants to tackle people. And if Murray will do that, good. Plus, you hear about his story, and he seems like he's just an awesome guy, like the type of guy they want and the type of player that, the guy for the community, a guy that grew up with some hardships and overcame a lot. So he's a hard worker. Like that's what you want, right? You want those kind of guys in your team. They inspire, they lead, all that stuff. And if you can play football well, hey, even better. Because if you can just be a nice guy, then you're Geronimo Allison. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry.
You got to lay off Geronimo.
I know he's a lion. I'm
sorry.
I keep
going after him.
We don't have to worry about it. He's a lion now.
I know, but I've been wall over him all the time. I got to cut that out.
We do.
But
he's a great guy.
We're going to do another Hapeman Brothers Talking Packers. By that time, I'm going to be looking at linebackers. I'll have some guys that I like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I didn't look at all the receivers the other day either. I mean, I just looked at guys that, I thought look good. But there's a bunch of guys out there that people are saying that the Packers should get at first round, second round that I guess I just didn't watch enough of them to see if they think, if they're really that great. But like there's a guy from Colorado who's supposed to be pretty good. But I don't know. I mean,
so outside of the rookies,
it's weird.
We're getting a lot of comments here about a couple things. Outside of the rookies, there's 2 things I want to point out. First of all, one, Eric brings up there's been a Clay love fest online. People wanting to bring him back to play inside. You don't even know if he wants to play inside, first off, because he did it, but he wanted to still move back to the outside, which is why they moved him there and why he ended up leaving and going to the Rams and playing outside for the Rams. So there's that. Now, Eckes thinking if you can get Clay back cheap, which we said, if you can get him back cheap and he's going to be an inside backer, then I'm down. What do you think?
Yeah. By the way, he tweeted after the all-decade team was announced. He tweeted his stats out, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And when he did, he also put on there that he played inside linebacker for 2 years, and he was an all-pro at inside linebacker. One of those 2 years that he was playing inside linebacker. And he tweeted that out. He tweeted his he was all-pro 3 times. He was a Pro Bowl 6 times. 80-something sacks for the Packers. So 11 playoff sacks. I mean, he got screwed, man.
Yeah.
That's all I could say. Somebody said like Khalil Mack has only been in the league for 5 years. How the hell does he make it over Clay?
I think he might be 6 years now, but yeah, but there were other questionable guys in there. And we talked, that's another thing, another reason. If you haven't seen Hafman Brothers
Ridiculous.
episode 24, we also cover that. We talk about the all decade team, which in the Packer news segment, we talk about all decade team. We also talk about a couple other things, Packer Devin Funchess contract specifics, and a few other thoughts on that. So a deeper examination is on episode 24. But yes, Clay should have been on that all decade team. Ben said that right away. When I thought about it, I agreed with him. Sorry, Nick. And Clay, like I said, if he can be an inside backer, because you don't need him at outside backer. But if he can play inside backer and he comes back at a good price, yeah, why not? Why not? Now, there's one other thing.
I would say anything. I mean, we lost Fackrell.
Yeah,
I mean, you can use a veteran who knows how to play, and they can line him up at all different kinds of places, and he doesn't have to play every down. Like, I would not be opposed to it. I would say bring him in.
You know what, though?
He needs a good defensive player.
I will say this. Did you watch many of the Rams games last year?
Yeah, but he was playing outside linebacker.
I know, but he was doing the same dumb stuff
I know.
that he would do sometimes for the Packers, where he's way out of position, and then he's like, just running, rambling up the field too fast and not reading keys, and then he takes himself out of the play. And that's why at inside backer, that's why he was better, because they just let him roam. It was like, read what's going on and attack. Yes. But when you're on the outside and you've got to be able to hold the edge sometimes, and you're not doing that because you're too aggressive and you lose your contain, or you fly up the field and a guy sneaks inside of you, like, that's a big problem. But at inside backer, diagnose what you think is going on. Is it a run? Attack. Is it a pass? Okay, drop back what I'm doing, or go on the blitz. Send him on the blitz all day long. Can you imagine that? Like Clay Matthews inside backer, and then just blitz him. Just be like, you know what? Every time there's a pass play, automatic blitz. If you see it, so basically every play, his first step is always going to be forward, and he's always going to be attacking. That I would love to see. That I would love to see.
Yeah, I mean, that's what was exciting about him when he was playing inside linebacker. And that's the thing about Blake Martinez that he didn't do. He didn't pursue. He didn't attack the line of scrimmage. He waited for something to happen. And as we found out from his interview with the Giants, that he was told to do that. So, okay. And they might tell Clay to do that. Clay's going to do whatever the hell he wants. And that's why it might be good to have him out there. He might make a couple plays here and there and mess things up.
Now there's
bring him in.
There's one other thing. Plus, then he can add, if he's back in the Packers, he can add to his team record in sacks. So,
yeah.
And maybe he gets to 100. Maybe he has a big year and gets to 100 sacks for his career as a Packer, or whatever it is. I don't know how many. He didn't have that many sacks last year with the Rams. So maybe he gets to 100.
I think he's got 90 something right now.
Okay.
In his career, like 90 something, 95. Sure. I don't know, something like that. I think he got 8 last year.
Yeah, then he would definitely get to 100. And that would be a nice thing for the Packers, right? Have a longtime player come back, whatever. I'm down. I'm fine, as long as it doesn't cost too much. The other thing that's out there, and you should watch this if you haven't, is Larry McCarron on the Packers website did a breakdown on Christian Kirksey, and I like it. I like what I see. I think he's going to, I know the injuries the last couple of years, but if that, 2 years ago, that guy had 140 plus tackles. And then the year before that, when he played all 16 games, he had close to 150 tackles. And that was where he was inside with Joe Schobert, who was also getting 150 tackles. So they were just like, it's competition to get tackles. It wasn't like Blake Martinez who could get 150 some tackles and the next guy's got, 90 some tackles. This was two guys on the inside, both getting about 150 tackles for 2 years in a row. And I like his speed. He attacks. He is not afraid to hit people, and the Packers need that too. And I think he's got good recognition, like diagnose, get in there, attack. McCarron shows some good footage too of him beating those combo blocks where the guard will combo block and then try to peel off to get the backer. But if the backer's too fast, recognizes and shoots through, the guard can't get him. And he showed some plays like that too. So I like what I see from Kirksey. And if he can be healthy, I like that signing a lot.
I just saw one today Larry did on Wagner. So
Okay.
that came out today, and it was the same type of thing. He shows him going up against the Eagles on 3 consecutive plays and not letting the guy get past him. You know, either there was a bull rush, he stopped that. There was a like a club type move, he stopped that. Then there was a speed rush, and he just kind of let him go. I mean, not let him go, but like he rode him further away so that the quarterback can step up in the pocket. So I think Wagner's going to be a good addition, and I think he'll be just as good as Balaga, in my opinion, if not better. I hope, but that's just from what I saw on the tape. But of course, it could be just the 3 good plays. Like I said,
right.
You watch these plays, like even when like when you watch the prospect primers on Packers.com with Mike Spofford and those guys do, they just show the good plays. They're like, oh, look at this guy is a possible draft pick of the Packers. Look how good he is. They show you like 7 awesome things he did. Okay, well they don't show you the other 37 plays in the game where he did nothing, or he screwed up a couple times. They don't show you that part. So who knows? The other thing I saw that was really cool, there is like it's like a history of the Packers type documentary thing that the Packers have put out. And I watched the first 2 episodes last night. They're both on YouTube. I think they probably got them on the Packer website too, but you can find them on YouTube if you just go to Packers. There's like a Packer YouTube page. And it's like the first one is like how the Packers got started. It's like the first 10 years of the Packers existence. And then the next one is the next 10 years. So it's like 1919 to 1929. And then the next one is from 1930 to 1939. So like they talk about Curly Lambeau and all these different guys that were playing, and how the team almost, didn't exist a couple different times. They had to like open up for the stock, they have people buy stock into the team. Another time where a guy put in a bunch of money, and he kind of was like a pseudo, like kind of like an owner of the team for like a year and a half, but nobody told anybody. And then he sold the rights back out again. But that was the only way that they could pay the bills, is if this guy would do some businessman in Green Bay, and he would just, pay the bills for him. But he had to go down as being the owner, but then he kind of sold it back or something. And then there's also talks about Don Hudson and a couple other guys. And I like the quarterback, I don't remember what the heck his name was, but some Green Bay native who had tiny little hands but could throw the ball 60 yards or something like that. And because of that, when they got Don Hudson, it was like the perfect combination. And that's why, he had so many touchdowns and yards and all that kind of stuff. So it's a really cool little documentary. And I'm assuming they're doing one for every 10 years of the last 100 years. So there's 8 more episodes coming. And it's just these first 2 were about the 1919 to 1929 and 1930 to 1939. So it seems pretty cool. If anybody wants to check that out, they're about like 50 minutes long or so. But if you got time to watch stuff, it's a good little thing. It lets you know some things about the Packers. How it all started.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it. You watch a lot of documentaries, don't you? You seem to. Yeah. Okay.
There's another really good documentary. I think it's on Hulu maybe, or Netflix or something. It's called 3 Identical Strangers. Man, that's a good one. It's kind of messed up. It's about these 3 brothers that were triplets. And when they were born, they were put up for adoption, and the adoption agency sent them to 3 different families. Okay. But nobody knew that except for this one doctor who worked with the agency, because he wanted to study the difference of upbringing on 3 identical triplets. So this doctor and the agency knew, but no, the families didn't even know. Like when they adopted the boy, the baby, they didn't know that boy had 2 other brothers, triplet brothers. They just thought it was a boy they were adopting. And then so it goes through, and then all of a sudden something happened where one of them went to college or something and ended up meeting somebody, and they thought he was somebody else because they grew up with his brother. But he thought it was his friend, and all of a sudden at college with me, he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not you." Blah 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 blah. And it goes through this whole thing, and this is a big thing. They were on like the Donahue show. This is like the 70s and early 80s. So like this was something that happened. I don't remember. I was a little kid, but this whole documentary takes place, and then you find out about all the stuff in the back, about how the doctor set it up and all this kind of stuff. And then there was like, it's a big long thing, but it was like really interesting and really cool. So it's called Three Identical Strangers. If somebody really, if you're into that kind of thing, I just like documentaries, I like to know stories and stuff. And it's just really good, really, really good one.
Oh, hey, mom's got some history for you. She said that grandpa, so her dad told them that the Packers were going to leave Green Bay, and they took a collection to keep them in Green Bay. Which grandpa was one of the people that gave money to keep them there. So, which I believe, because grandpa had Packer tickets and was a huge, huge Packers fan forever, his whole life. But yeah, that happened at some point. I mean, you think about all that stuff, right? And how Green Bay was such. I mean, it was one of the original teams in the league that really helped bring football to popularity into life. And but still, then you see all these huge cities, huge markets all over the place that were just blown up, and that's where a bunch of these teams ended up popping up after that, right? And so then, how does a small area like northeastern Wisconsin still hold that team down through all the trials and tribulations of the decades and the economic ups and downs and all that stuff? It's been quite a story for the Packers, and it was just because the entire state and the community embraced the team, loves it, and wanted to keep them there. And that's one of the things I think that's super unique about it. Obviously, with not having an owner, although Mark Murphy as a representative is a little weird to me. But anyway, he's kind of a goofball. But
He's weird.
Hey,
Weird.
Adam's on tonight for the first time. He's excited. He just created a Gmail account so he could comment. Adam, give us a comment in there. Eric says,
Wait.
Eric is excited about the opportunity to run stunts with Clay and the Smiths and everybody, and Kirksey. I love Kirksey, man. Kirksey is watch out for that guy. If he can stay healthy, he's gonna be awesome. Okay, so I had one other thing that I wanted to bring up tonight, and I apologize that we started off in such a glum note, but Ben's fasting more than 24 hours without food, and I'm just crabby. So sorry. Sometimes that's what you get, right? This is real life here. Now, I did want to say,
you can tell the story about Bob or what?
Oh yeah,
you got some big story.
That's good. Okay,
that's what I've been waiting for. That's all I've been waiting for all week is a story about Mom. Let's go.
That's right. I was saving it for tonight, and I even told her I would tell. Okay, this will bring. I should have thought of that earlier. I lost my thoughts on that, which was why I just I couldn't bring back my happiness because I didn't remember this awesome story. One comment from Eggus though. Adam says, "Woohoo!" And then Eggus says his mom was cleaning the freezer and found a chunk of frozen tundra she bought a bunch of years ago and wants to give it to him to get it out of the freezer. So he'll have that chunk of old frozen tundra for his freezer. That's nice. That's a nice thing for
Is she gonna, hey, you got to make sure she puts that in like a protective like freezer to carry it, because otherwise it's not gonna be frozen anymore. You got to keep it frozen. Yeah. You give something called frozen tundra, it's got to stay frozen, or else it loses its value.
Or you have to wait until January to transport it. I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you.
Yeah, that's true. Or you have to wait until then. That's true.
Yeah. And then drive with your windows open so it stays nice and cool in your vehicle. Okay, here's the story about Mom, which I did not realize. Hopefully you all enjoy this, and hopefully I do it justice, man. I got to make sure I don't give it away too fast. I got to set it up right. I'm not as good a storyteller as Ben. You all know this, but I'm going to try. Okay, so I'm talking to my mom this week, just checking in, seeing how things are going. And she mentions to me about how they were trying to watch some sports. And so they went back and they watched the Packers Super Bowl from 2010. So, wait. Oh, Mom has one also. You three will have to share. Okay, well, we'll find out about that later, I guess, unless she types in something. But here's the Super Bowl story. So Mom and Dad went back last week and watched the Super Bowl 45. My favorite Super Bowl, probably. So anyway, and what happened was, so she's telling me this. So yeah, they went back and they watched it, and whatever, and then she's talking about it a little more, and I said, oh, okay, good. And then she says, well, that's the first time I've seen it. And I was like, what? What do you mean that's the first time you've seen it? And then she's like, yeah, well, when it was happening, I was in the other room, in the office room by the computer, because I was too nervous about everything that was happening. And I would just listen for, and I guess Sarah and Andrew were visiting at the time. And she's like, I would just listen for when they would yell and get excited. And then I would think about coming in, but then something bad would happen. So then I go back to the office. So she did not actually watch Super Bowl 45 until last week. That's the first time our mother, who is a huge Packer fan, ever watched the Super Bowl from 2010 that the Packers won. The last one the Packers won. That's the first time she's ever seen the game. 10 years after the fact. Does that surprise you?
No, not at all. Because she's the most superstitious person I've ever met, especially when it comes to sports and stuff. She's more superstitious than me.
That's what she said. She said she'd start to walk towards the room with the TV and then would hear them like groan or yell. So then she'd just stop, turn around and walk and go back to the office. So because she couldn't watch it, because her watching it would somehow affect the game. Somehow it would affect what happened. This is what she believes.
Yeah.
And on top of it, then she said, she's like, and even watching it now, I was just so nervous. I mean, I knew what the outcome was going to be, but but she still was getting worked up about like the ebbs and flows of the game and all that stuff. So, I mean, she said it was okay because she knew that they were going to win. And so she could deal with it better and she didn't have to leave the room, but she still had some anxiety watching the game 10 years after the fact. Man. That's fun.
Well, it's tough because, Donald Driver gets hurt. Charles Woodson gets hurt. So you're kind of like, right. Oh, my God. These are the two guys that all they've been talking about is to get Charles Woodson and Donald Driver to the Super Bowl, get him a Super Bowl win. And those guys got hurt in the game. So it was kind of disappointing that way.
Right.
But they didn't finish the game, all the way through.
And Jordy,
they were definitely.
Jordy Nelson could have had a Super Bowl record, I think, for receptions and receiving yards had he not dropped 4 or 5 passes in that game.
Aaron Rodgers would have had like 500 yards passing in that game if it wasn't for all the drops. I mean him and then the start of the third quarter when James Jones just hits him right in the freaking hands on that like 40-yard bomb and just drops it. It's like,
I know.
Dude. Then he'll go and then he catches all these crazy catches, but he can't catch the easy ones. That's the James Jones that we know.
That's James Jones. But I'll tell you what, you go back and look at any of those like Aaron Rodgers long touchdown pass highlight videos or whatever. James Jones has a bunch of them and he makes some really tough catches. Like he goes up.
I know he does.
I mean, it's crazy. It's so weird. Like he makes awesome catches when he has to concentrate, and then all the easy ones like, and he just goes right through his hands or whatever. Here, a couple quick things. So, Eggis says his mom was at the Bristol Boar with him, Jen, and Butter, and a bunch of people for that Super Bowl, and they ended up getting to do a bunch of shots. Well, yeah, because the Packers won. It was a great game. She also rewatched the game last week. She said she didn't remember a bunch of the plays and stuff, and she was nervous too. Well, yeah, I know. It's kind of weird going back, and that's kind of the thing, right? With sports, it's you go back and then you see some of the things you remember. You forgot a bunch of the details of how the game went and some of the drama that was involved. We remember certain plays, but we don't remember everything, like the Spillett Pickett play and some of that stuff we remember. And Aaron Rodgers, some of the touchdown pass to Greg Jennings, the first down pass, some of that stuff. I did actually, you brought it up before. The last time I watched that game, I didn't really watch it. It was available on YouTube. And what I did was I examined the game. What would have Aaron Rodgers' statistics been had the Packers receivers not dropped 6 balls in that game? And Jordy Nelson dropped 4 of them. Jordy had 9 catches. He would have had 13 catches for over 200. I think it was 214 yards, and he would have had at least 2 touchdowns, I think. Aaron Rodgers would have had only 6 incompletions. He would have had, because you also have to factor in then plays that happened after that on the same drive, which some of them did after a drop. They did continue, and so I did all of that. And Aaron Rodgers, by my estimation, would have had about 445 yards, just south of 450, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and probably the best passer rating ever in the Super Bowl. But anyway, they dropped 6 passes in that game. which was annoying because Ben has told you and I've told you I hate drop passes more than anything. The thing that bothers me most in all of sports is dropped passes. Catch the ball. That's it.
Well, the thing that I remember, or that I think is interesting about that game, is that was a tight game. Like it was a really tight game. Well, and the Packers had no turnovers in that game, and they needed their defense to create turnovers for them to even have a chance to win the game. Like there was, like if it wasn't for Howard Green getting his hand on Ben Roethlisberger's arm right when he was throwing that pass, it wouldn't have been a wounded duck that Nick Collins was able to pick off and return for a touchdown. If it wasn't for, if you watch the game, the Steelers had momentum going into the fourth quarter, and I think it was the first play of the fourth quarter. That's right after you see the scene with, if you have I have the DVD that has like the behind the scenes kind of stuff. Kevin Green goes up to Clay and he's like, "Hey, nobody's leading the team. We need you to step up and lead the team now. Woodson's hurt. We need somebody to make a play." And that's when, Clay does the spill a Pickett and him smack into Mendenhall, and then fumble and turnover. Packers get the ball back. And then I think it all came down to, I think it was Tremont Williams who broke up the last pass, right? So, I mean, and there was only a 6-point game or something, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, and the Packers had no turnovers. The other thing was on Greg Jennings' touchdown catch, his second one, was when he told it wasn't even like McCarthy who came up with those plays. It was Greg Jennings on the sidelines who's like, "Hey, Palomalu is coming in. He's not even worried about the corner. If you send somebody in the middle, in the slot, and have him run a corner route, there's nobody there to cover it." And they're like, "Okay, let's do it." And then they did it, and he was wide open. There wasn't anybody within 10, 15 yards of him because Palomalu, even though he's a first ballot Hall of Famer and Leroy Butler isn't, Palomalu would sometimes do whatever the crap he wants. Or Leroy Butler did what you're supposed to do and make the right play. And that's why he should be a freaking Hall of Famer. And Clay Matthews should be in the freaking all-decade team of this decade. But he got screwed, and Leroy has been getting screwed. And it's about time Leroy gets in the freaking Hall of Fame. But I don't want to get mad about that right now. But anyways, those are all the things I remember from that game. It was an awesome Super Bowl, yeah. But I want to see a Super Bowl now. I want to see a Super Bowl this year if they actually play any games this year. And next year, what?
No,
I'm hoping that happens.
Those close calls, it's crazy. It's crazy for that. And I was down here and watched it with Adam. So just me and Adam hanging out in his basement. That's where I watched that Super Bowl. And I think Abby brought us snacks. I don't remember. But anyway, it was a great game and a great Super Bowl to watch. But it's been 10 years, and the close calls hurt a little more each time. But just to think that the Packers with Aaron Rodgers and some of the talent they've had couldn't find a way back. I don't know.
However, hey, speaking of that,
go ahead.
I want to ask everybody. Okay. I want everybody on here to respond to this, because we did a Hafen Brothers Talking Packers episode. In one of the episodes, we talked about whether it'd be better to have the team win one Super Bowl in a decade, or have and then stink, or have them be in the playoffs a bunch but never ever get all the way there and win the Super Bowl. And you want them to be good and get the playoffs all the time. And I wanted them to just get me one stinking Super Bowl so I could feel the power of being awesome. And I want to know what everybody else thinks, because I think I'm right. All right. And I think you're dead wrong. Since we have people on this chat, I want them to answer what they say. Is it better to be kind of good, make the playoffs, but every year you get a letdown? Or maybe you stink a lot, but then you get to the playoffs and you go all the way. Like look at the Giants.
That was the comparison. Yeah, they had two Super Bowls.
Yeah, the Giants, they stink. They stink. But then they get the Super Bowl and they win. Then they stink, and then they get the playoffs and make the Super Bowl and they win. Then they stink and they stink and they stink.
Yep. That was the Giants were the example, and it was like in a 10-year period or somewhere in that range. Would you have rather had the Packers sustain success, where you have, excitement throughout the year and you make the playoffs and at least you got a chance, and maybe you're disappointed in the end, but you had that fun journey the whole season? Or would you rather have multiple Super Bowls and have years where the team is just god awful, like not even watchable? For me, I like a competitive team, and the fact they came up short, yes, it hurts, but I would have I think about this. These are the times I think about. When Brett Hundley was playing quarterback, it was hard to watch. When the other time Aaron Rodgers was hurt, it was hard to watch. Like I was just, I don't know. I'd rather see competitive games because it's a long season, and I would really have a hard time suffering through like a 4, 5, 6 win season, multiple seasons during those 10 years just for one other Super Bowl. If I could get one in that 10-year period, but they were good every year pretty much, I would take that over the other. But let's see what we get. Okay, here we got some comments, Ben. Most years it sucks being a Raiders fan, says Eric. Well, it's been a while for you to get to the Super Bowl, Eric. Sorry about that. Let's see. Andrew says, I want Super Bowl. Oh, that's Sarah. Sarah wants a Super Bowl. So Sarah's with you. Nick says, if you're not first, you're last. Ooh.
Yes. Yep, that's with me.
Okay. All right. I guess with you. Multiple playoff team. Being a top team makes the year go better than having one year then crap. Was that year a hoax? I guess. Cheers, buddy. At least I get somebody with me here.
I think it's got something with the name Jason. You guys got like a chemical imbalance in your brain. You're not thinking straight.
Or Ekis just drank enough that he's come around to my side. Let's see. Eric says, no fun watching every week knowing you're going to get crushed, which is Eric. I think Eric's leaning my way. And Ekis says,
okay, Eric, but think about this. If you have no expectations and your team stinks, like you're expecting them to stink, because I hate to say this, but I have 2 rules in my life, 2 that I follow. And if you want to be miserable like me, you can follow these 2 rules as well. Rule number 1, always assume that 99.9% of the people you meet are complete morons, and then you'll never be disappointed. And then once in a while, you're going to be pleasantly surprised that you didn't meet a moron. And that's kind of like this is it that we're talking about now. Your team stinks, you expect them to stink, and then you get to the Super Bowl and you win the whole thing and you're going crazy. That's pretty awesome. The other rule, I'll tell you just because, even though it has nothing to do with that, is never receive anything from anybody, any gifts or nothing, then you'll never feel like you owe them something. See, that's how to be miserable. Those are the rules of Ben.
Nice. Very good life advice. Look, I don't know. That's just the way I look at it, because I really enjoy the sport and I like watching every week. Again, when the football season's going on, I'll see some more comments popping on here. And then you get to the Raiders draft. Okay, yeah. I mean, Eric, we know that. Eric, we feel for you, man. The Raiders
had a good draft last year.
Right? But the Raiders have been a mess for a long, long time. You're just hoping with Mayock and Gruden that those 2 are bringing some stability, and it looks like they are. So I think they're going in the right direction. You know.
By the way, if you watched Hey Brothers Talking Packers, I had the list. There was a list of the top 25 rookies from 2019. Max Crosby was number 4 on that list. And he's a guy who was drafted in like the 4th round, Rick, or 5th round or something. So that's a big impact player you guys got really, really, really late in the draft. Plus you had the running back. Plus you had the safety who got hurt. He's coming back. So you've got some players from last year's draft that are pretty dang good. Way better than the Packers draft. And then you're going to have whatever you got this year too. I think Mayock is doing a good job there.
Yeah. I mean,
Gruden's a little crazy, but I think Mayock kind of talks him down from doing crazy stuff.
Well, Mayock was, I mean, I don't know what you thought, but watching him when he was on NFL Network and doing all the analysis, I thought he was spot on most of the time. You know, I agreed with him.
Well, the year that Aaron Rodgers got drafted, he said Aaron Rodgers was going to go 24 to the Packers. That's what he said. Now, I don't know how he knew that. I think it's just because he knew that nobody wanted quarterbacks in between there. You know, so hey, that happens. He was right. He's only one.
All right, here we go. Mom says she wants the team to win a Super Bowl once a decade. Okay, that would be at least nice. And are somewhat competitive every year with a surprise added in. Okay. And so that's okay, we're getting there. We're getting like evened up almost. Then Eka says, you sound like a Bears fan from the 85 team. You would be miserable. If you're not first, you can still win 13 games and have a great season. And if you are a top team, the Super Bowl will come. Well, we hope so. We hope the Super Bowl comes soon for the Packers because it's been a long. I know most of us understand we suffered through the 80s and remember them. Some of us that are a little older suffered through more than that, the 70s too. Those are lean times. But and it took the Packers a while. And when they came back in the 90s and had success, it was great. And the Super Bowl win was awesome. And a second Super Bowl appearance was very good as well. And then there was a bit of a drought in there. And it was tough and a lot of heartbreaking playoff losses. But at least the team was competitive. I don't know. At least for me, I'm a passionate fan, but I don't do a lot of entertainment watching of things other than sports is mostly my entertainment. So when like during the hustle and bustle of life and all this stuff, and you're working and you're doing stuff, whenever, and your dad and you're doing house projects and you're doing all this stuff, I would say I'm like, the only thing I ask for during football season is let me watch the Packers 3 hours a day, 3-4 hours a day. Let me watch the Packers, or Sundays reserved for that. And so that's one of my times to just sit back, relax, have some entertainment. So if the games are not entertaining because the team is so bad, then you take that away from me. I don't know. I'd fold up. I don't know what happened. So then I just do house stuff or whatever. I don't know. I'd still watch though. That's the bad part. I love football so much. I would still watch, and then I would just be, ugh. So I like a competitive team every year if you can get it. And I don't want to go through 24 quarterbacks in 20 years or whatever the Bears have done. And now there's stuff saying that Mitch Trubisky is most likely not going to have a chance to start this year because Nick Foles is going to get in there and he's going to be the new Bears starter. So the Bears still suck. They still suck. Sing it, Nick. Sing it, Nick.
It doesn't matter who plays for the Bears. They're going to be in trouble. Because if Nick Foles and Mr. Trubisky are your two options, you're not winning. Actually, I would rather see Nick Foles out there because
he's better. I mean, come on.
No. He's not. He's better. Yes, he's better for us.
Better passer, but he's
a better passer. But right. You're talking sack bill. You're talking the Smiths are going to go nuts. Yeah. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But Trubisky can get away sometimes, and he did. I mean, they almost beat us in Lambeau that game. If it wasn't for that crazy, luckily somebody actually tackled. Tremont made a tackle or whatever at the 2-yard line or whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
But if the guy, so I mean, Trubisky can move around if he actually would develop and that sort of thing. And if Nagy had confidence in him, he probably would be able to win a lot more games. But a lot of times they don't. Like that's how the Packers came back and won that game in the first game of the year 2 years ago. They took their foot off the gas when they had a big lead. Next thing you know, Packers scored crap ton of points in the second half. And then finally when they had to put the game in Trubisky's hand, he'd been sitting there handing the ball off doing nothing for so long that he kind of lost his rhythm and he was out of it. Then the Packers won. So I don't know. I'm just glad that the Packers get to be in the same division as the Bears and the Lions and even the Vikings a little bit. But the Vikings are pretty decent. But we're going to get a bunch of wins because they stink. That's always good.
Yeah. I mean, we'll take it. Although the Bears didn't sign HaHa back and they didn't sign somebody else that stunk back. So
did you know where'd HaHa Clinton-Dix go?
But then they signed Jimmy Graham. I don't know. He should be at home. He should not be in the league anymore. That guy's been terrible since the very beginning. Don't give me this Pro Bowl HaHa Clinton-Dix crap. You're going to get me all mad again. What?
You know where he went? Take a guess.
No, what? I don't know.
He went to go play with Mike McCarthy.
No, come on.
Yes. The Cowboys signed him.
Oh, do the Packers have the Cowboys?
No, McCarthy had to okay that.
Do the Packers have the Cowboys on the schedule? I don't even know off the top of my head.
I don't know. I don't
I
think
sure
they
hope
do.
so. I sure hope so because I love playing against Clinton Dix any chance I can. If I'm the Packers, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'd love to play against him any damn day of the week. Because that guy is one of the worst safeties I've ever seen.
There's a cross right there for Good Friday, just for your mom and dad.
Good Friday. Ben's wearing blue. I'm wearing kind of blue
I'm wearing blue.
as
I'm wearing
well.
blue. I'm running out of blue t-shirts though. Dang it, I gotta get some more. Or do some laundry, one or the other.
Butter says this is the only time that it's better to live in the past. I get it, man. Look, I just that Clinton Dix is one of the worst players I've ever seen on the Packers. One of the worst players that people thought was good for far too long when he actually sucked the whole time. The whole time.
We got to be more positive. People come on here to be having a good time,
Are
not
they?
to be
Okay.
being sad.
I told
next week we got to be way more happy, dude.
I told everybody in the
good.
beginning I was
We've been
crabby.
grumpy.
You crabby.
Yeah, I apologize for being so crabby and grumpy.
Sometimes this is it though. If anybody else got any beefs, let them out. I don't know. All right, what can we say the positive? We talked about the mom story. The positive is we'll end the show soon. Maybe that'll be a positive for you. And Ben Grumpy, Butter says, with a question mark. Ben's been better than me, Butter. I've been, and Ben's fasting. He hasn't eaten in like 26 hours, so he should be grumpy. Eggus is turning around. Wisconsin sports. Eggus, the light of positivity, says Wisconsin sports, and you are Jason Eggus. I don't mean to make fun or make light of your positive attitude most of the time, which I enjoy. Although we have heard you be a little pissy sometimes too, and that's always fun. Wisconsin sports are unbelievable right now. We have Rodgers, Yelich, Giannis. Those are three great people to be leading our teams and be superstars and representatives of the teams. Look, I think this, to end this on a positive note, I think the Packers were just getting started last year. I think year 2 of this regime with the right draft picks, right? They moved on from some players that were dead weight. And we talked about that before. Yeah. So, and they made some smart free agent signings the last 2 years. I think this year is going to, you can't say they're going to replicate a 13-3 record, but I think they're going to win the division. They win the division. They're in the playoffs. I think they got a really strong chance to make it back to the NFC Championship game and hopefully get that Super Bowl this year. So, I'm excited about that. I know it's a tougher schedule, yes, but that's the weird thing about the NFL is like year to year, the first place team from last year could all of a sudden be the third place team in the division this year because they're not as good and they're playing a tougher schedule. So there's so many ebbs and flows, so many changes, but I think Packers making wise decisions in first round. If they can get Murray, great. If they can't, I'm leaning more towards shoring up that D line and going for a defensive tackle early on. And I know they need a receiver, but there's so many different, like I watched the tape on Shenault and he looks like a really versatile weapon. He looks awesome. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with Shenault at the first pick 30. But if you got a chance to get a stud next to Kenny Clark and really shore up the middle and wreak havoc in the middle too, a guy that can rush the passer as well, or take on double teams potentially, like that makes a big difference for your run and your pass defense, and that makes a big difference for your team. So that's where I'm at. So I've come around off my wide receiver kick, and I'm saying D tackle probably first round. So Ben's going to do some more linebacker research. We'll do another episode with some more draft prospects and really kind of dig into the needs of the Packers. Eric's got to go. Eric, thanks for hanging with us for so long. Appreciate it. Thanks for everybody for hanging on. Ben, you got any last words of positive words before we go on this?
Just I got a new Ben's Top 10s coming tomorrow, I think. And it's not as good as the first one.
Oh, that's not positive.
Well, my brain wasn't quite working, so I'm not as smooth. But I was just like, I don't care, putting it up there like that. So look for that this weekend. And then I'm also trying to come up. I got a couple other lists. One I already made. Another one I'm trying to do is top 10 albums of all time.
Oh,
But it's really hard to get down to 10 right now. So it's not happening.
Are you just trying to go with rock albums? Or are you going like all genres of music or whatever?
No, just albums that I freaking think are good.
Oh man,
they got to have every song on the album has to be good. There can't be any stinkers on it.
No throwaways.
Right.
Wow. Okay, that would be
good. But there are quite a few albums that are like that. So, I'm trying to weed it down, and it's not working. It's I gotta listen to them all.
I guess one's top 10 waters you drank this weekend.
Well, there's only one kind of water. Ding dong, it's water. It's filtered through a
Rochester
pure
tap
filter
water.
or whatever. Yeah, Rochester tap water filtered through a pure filter or whatever.
Oh man,
that's
all
what
right.
it is.
We've been going on long enough. I apologize for venting too much, being in a crappy mood for too long of this show. I promise you this: next week we will be better. I'll be better next week. Ben will be, hopefully, eat something and. He'll be just
I'll
good.
be eating by next week.
Yeah, okay. But we'll be better next week. We'll be more positive next week and more uplifting. So come back if you can. Come back if you can. Agus says, is Innocent Men on that list? Oh, probably not.
No. No. I'm not gonna say anything bad. Just no.
Yep. All right.
Countervoid might be. Countervoid might be. No, they're not. They're not.
Countervoid mixtape could be on there.
No.
All right.
Countervoid will be honorable mention because I have to try to sell my CD to anybody or whatever. Anybody. I wrote a new song.
Hey,
wrote a new song on Wednesday.
There it is. There's something positive to end the show.
So here I did something Wednesday. Wrote a song. I like it. Pretty good. I like it. It's good.
Nice.
Got 6 beats per measure.
Oh, I like
those. Of course, it's got 5 beats per measure. Goes back and forth, kind of wacky. Kind of like Don't Wake Me, mixed with Fool, mixed with that kind of stuff.
All right. I will
arrange it now.
Good. I'll tell you this. I spent some time tonight after I got back. I spent some time drumming and working up some of the songs that we played and singing some parts along while I was drumming, which is a challenge for me, and you know that everyone does. And so I'm working up my game here to put on a good show in September in Madison. If you guys are willing to come back, at least I won't be.
That happens.
At least I won't be a weak link. I hope in that one. So, and that was nice. I needed a little music therapy, and I got a little bit of it. So,
that's good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep up my activities, trying to pull the music together. My kids are already better than me at music, but that's okay. They're very talented, and I love it. I love seeing them go after that stuff. So you guys all take care. Ben, be safe. Keep writing music because you're awesome at it, dude. Keep writing songs. I can never do it. Always envious you of that. Love you. Love you guys. Be safe. Take care of yourselves, and we'll catch you next week. I hope you come back next week. Promise we'll be better. Love you.